I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding in even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. Welcome to the Pixel Pop Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Toby. This fortnight, I'm joined by the not so keen on John Carpenter films, Ethan.
I wouldn't say not so keen, just haven't experienced enough.
And gonna kill Ethan if he doesn't watch Sicario, Jesse.
Was that opening monologue a reference to Michael Bay?
No, but it could have been.
To Michael Bay.
It's a quote from the classic, the original Halloween of 1978, of course. That's Loomis when he's describing meeting Michael. So,
Okay.
That'll come back to haunt us because we're going to talk about, our topic of conversation for this fortnight is the legendary man himself, John Carpenter. We're going to talk about some of his movies, of course, some of his music, and everything in between. And that comes about because he's had a reasonably active hand, we've been told, in the new Halloween film coming out, and we'll get back into that a bit later. But we do have some news to get through this fortnight. Thankfully, not as much as there has been in previous episodes. But let's jump straight into that. Take us away, Ethan.
First bit of news we got is that we all know Sony's doing their own Spider-Man movies. Starts
More
with
and
Venom.
more so.
They're doing the Venom. They were going to be doing Silver and Black, but now Silver and Black has been pulled from Sony's release schedule.
Right.
So, yeah.
Is Sony sort of turning into a bit of a DC in terms of like this universe, kind of universe it's in but not in, maybe could be on off?
I think
They're
are.
currently half in negotiation with Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think maybe
suppose
they might just be like just treating carefully, seeing how Venom's going to go.
it's a
before they
sticky
actually
situation. But
You could almost say that their relationship with Marvel Studios is symbiotic.
Oh. Can I just leave
And
this
there
podcast?
went all three of our listeners. Right, okay. But
Including,
there's
me,
like
I'll go.
rumors of more like stuff coming too, isn't there? From Sony.
There was the Morbius one, I think we spoke about last time as well, which is the vampire one. There was that.
Yeah.
I think that's the only three they've talked about, the Silver and
Right.
Black, Venom and Morbius.
Right, okay. But it seems that they're pretty keen to sort of really expand that Spider-Man universe.
Yeah, without using Spider-Man.
Yeah, but that's okay because there's a lot there.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Still,
Anyway.
I want Spider- but,
I know
yeah.
you do.
Now we can't have a podcast without bringing up the infamous DCEU.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
And this time we've got Jared Leto's Joker is getting his own movie, which is
Now,
just
hang on.
fits into DC on piling more movies into development, but not actually doing anything with it and trying to work on their franchise because DC doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
But wasn't there someone else that was about to do like a Joker origin film or something?
Yeah, Martin
It was
Scorsese.
Scorsese, and from what I heard today, Joaquin Phoenix is apparently doing Joker, but it's going to be like his origin, like Killing Joke type thing.
What?
Oh.
Yeah,
But-
that's what his Scorsese's one's going to be.
This is just going to confuse the fuck out of people.
But, like, we all know
But
that I'm...
DC doesn't care.
And as resident DC shill, I'm excited to see more of Jared Leto's Joker, if only because it'll either define whether or not it was any good or not. Because I feel like he might have either been like the accidental shining star to some people in Suicide Squad because the rest of the movie was so shit. And so I guess with a whole solo movie, we'll be able to see if he's actually any good or if he really was terrible to begin with.
Matthew Reeves has now said that he wants to do his own standalone Batman movies without Ben Affleck.
What the
So
fuck?
once again, we're going into more, well, Ben Affleck can't be a part of this, so you got to replace him with someone else. And Ben Affleck's like, nah, I don't want to play Batman. And he's like, no, you know what? I think we'll play Batman. And no, I don't want to play Batman. Then, you know what? Maybe we'll play Batman. Because no one can make up their fucking mind in DC.
That's, yeah. And again, like,
I
it's
think
just...
DC actually stands for, like, indecisive.
Well, I already said.
I think I might have to censor that one out.
yeah, actually.
Doesn't care?
Doesn't
Wow.
care. Yeah, doesn't care.
Beep. Right, okay. But yeah, tell us how you really feel, Ethan. I think he's upset, folks. I think Ethan's just a little upset with DC.
So Ethan's called DC indecisive expletives. I've said DC stands for doesn't commit. So we've got to get one more to round this out.
Yeah. Doesn't contemplate.
Doesn't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah. Anyway,
Doesn't Affleck.
Yeah. Let's move on before I start getting more fucking
Angry.
annoyed. So.
yeah. All right.
Yeah. All right. So now we have Ryan Gosling, Donald Glover, and Ezra Miller could play Willy Wonka in the new reboot.
Sure. I mean, Jesse could play Willy Wonka. I could play Willy Wonka. You know, Daryl Summers could play Willy Wonka.
List, I'm happy with it.
Jared Leto could play Willy Wonka.
No, he's too busy
Gene Wilder's poor innocent corpse could still play Willy Wonka.
I'm pointing like, you know, an inanimate object could play. They all could play. What has that got to like? What's the context though? Like, what's that got to do with anything?
Well, they're doing a reboot.
They're doing. It's apparently they're doing an origin story, aren't they?
I'm not sure. All I know is that these are the short lists that are there for the movie.
Because
has anybody spoken to Ryan Gosling, Donald Glover, or Ezra Miller about this?
I did. I tried to feed Ryan Gosling some cereal, and he told me they were doing an origin story for Willy Wonka.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess if you've seen, you know, Childish Gambino dance, I guess Glover could get away with it, right?
But why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But why do we need another one?
Why do we need to know any more about Willy Wonka?
We need to know why he's Willy's Wonky.
You gotta bring it to another.
Do we need an origin story on the 3 fucking pets from Homeward Bound? Like, is this the way cinema is going?
Oh, that sounds like another topic of conversation for another fortnight. The absolute worst prequel you can come up with.
Yeah, it's the
worst origin story.
Not necessarily the worst, it's the absolute most unnecessary.
Paul Mart origin story.
Paul Blart, Mole Blart.
Yeah. Mole Cop origin story. He's just a kid in a shopping center. He's like, one day.
Blart, Mole, baby. He wanted
Terrible.
to become a mole cop because he was lost.
Terrible.
I'm gonna move this back on track.
Yes, please.
So no one cares about Willy Wonka. Let's just move on. Also, we had a trailer drop for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Now I'm really looking forward to this.
This is the really animated film,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. I love the animation stuff for this. This looks good.
I really don't give a shit about this.
It's because you like DC.
He does. He does like DC. That's fine. I mean, I don't watch the anime stuff. I just stick to my MCEU. But that's because there is a connected EU.
Yeah.
I'm not prejudiced against Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. I've been hanging out for Venom for ages.
Venom isn't Spider-Man. Venom's Venom.
Venom's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
He's the Punisher in Spider-Man.
But yeah, this looks good. This is out at Christmas time. It's going up against...
Who's Spidey in this one?
Miles Morales.
Miles? Okay.
Yeah. Miles Morales is being played by Donald Glover. He's being played by Ryan Gosling.
No, he's not. Miles Morales is in it. You've got a version of Peter Parker is in it. You've got Spider-Gwen.
All right, cool. Well, we'll have that trailer included in the article, so watch it if you need to.
Next, we have Val Kilmer is set to return to Top Gun.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Do you reckon he's just going to be in a fiery plane crash at the beginning of the movie and never show up?
I mean, I liked Val.
They're gonna Independence Day Will Smith him.
I like Val Kilmer. I mean, I enjoyed quite a number of his films. I mean, he sort of really tapered out into his mid to late life. He put on a lot of weight. He lost it again because he got very sick. I believe he had like a throat cancer or something, which he's beaten. But he
had some problem with cancer.
Yeah, where Tom Cruise has obviously had help and looks reasonably well preserved. Val has aged.
That's Xenu shit.
Yeah, that's what it is. Let's not go there.
I think that might actually get killed now.
Yeah, Val hasn't aged. I mean, he's still, you know, he's prettier than me, but he's aged.
I don't know about that.
Considerably. Like, it's put him next to Tom Cruise, and it's gonna look wrong. You know, as I mentioned last fortnight, like, it's already obscene that we've got Tom Cruise, who's whatever age he is, 50 something, is a fighter jet pilot still. Like, that doesn't make sense. It's going to make less sense if you put Val on there. I suspect Val's role will probably be a smaller one. Like, it'll just
guy
be
in a chair kind of role.
Kind of like. Was it Charlie Sheen in the second Wall Street movie?
Oh, okay.
You know, where it's like a short scene. If he's got a longer part, then I would imagine he's going to be like an instructor or something. I can't see you putting Val today, you know, in a simulated 6G environment. You know what I mean?
I reckon they're gonna have Iceman show up when something's going on with Maverick, and they'll be like, we think we can get him to do it, and everyone's like, no, and then they turn to him and they're like, the one guy that would never say that it was a good idea to let him do this thing, and he'll be like, I trust him, and I'll say,
or he'll be like really sick and he'll be like, do it for me.
Yeah, he'll be like, do it for me. Do a sick barrel roll for me, Maverick.
Camera pans in on Val Kilmer as he's sailing and says, "Where's Rachel?"
Fuck Joel Schumacher.
All right, moving along.
Next, we have Al Pacino has joined the.
Is it Pacino or Pacino?
Pacino.
Could be passionate.
Well, I'll say Pacino. All right.
It's probably Pacino.
I sold out and starred in fucking, what's it called? The horrible Adam Sandler movie, Jack and Jill.
Oh, he's been added to the cast of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Jesus.
So that cast continually grows to something better and better each time.
Yeah, it's just got fucking everybody in it.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino's got a lot of blackmail.
DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Burt Reynolds. Now you've got Dakota Fanning. You've got Al Pacino.
How old's Burt Reynolds these days?
I was going to say, is Quentin Tarantino like digging up corpses?
Jesus, has he got like the gaffer tape paddle pop sticks behind him so he stands up straight?
He's 82. Burt Reynolds is 82.
Fucking hell. This is the Cannonball Run man himself. Jesus. I mean, I got respect, but Jesus.
Most people in Hollywood.
Having said that, I mean, Harrison Ford's 140 and he's still doing Indiana Jones, so, All right.
Next is the Girl in the Spiderweb trailer, where that dropped as well.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of those, so I don't know.
I mean, it's an odd one because there's the original trilogy of, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which obviously Naomi Rapace starred in. I thought they were fantastic. They did the first movie again in America, and there was talk of a sequel, obviously like reproducing the original trilogy, and then it never happened. This is based on the fourth book, and the fourth and fifth book are not by the original author, Stieg Larsson. He wrote the original trilogy. He had some material, I believe, for a fourth book, but it never happened, and then they got this other chap to come in and do the next sort of stories. So if you've not watched the original, I think it's Swedish, isn't it?
Yes,
Swedish. I mean, do it. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're on Netflix. They're absolutely amazing films. I didn't mind the American reboot. It was obviously different, but to be fair to it too, the American film was much closer to the book.
I love the American reboot, but I'm a big David Fincher fan, so I would watch anything he does.
Yeah, so it stuck to the book a lot better than the Swedish one, but I also enjoyed the Swedish one. So this skips book 2 and 3, and this is book 4.
And they're rebooting the whole series with this book, with this movie.
Yeah, so I will watch it. I probably won't go to a cinema. Some people are obviously going to want to know what happened to the other things, but I mean those stories have been told as well. So, and the thing the other thing is too, like the first movie and book is a real sort of whodunit murder mystery, whereas the second and third are more really delving into her and her family and all that sort of stuff, and it becomes a bit more it changes gear. It becomes a different type of film. So from what I've seen, because I haven't read the fourth book, but what I've seen in the trailer, it feels like it's more akin to that first book, where it's more of that, murder mystery rather than spy espionage action thing.
And also, it's directed by Fede Alvarez, who did the Evil Dead reboot and Don't Breathe.
Oh,
and recently, he said that someone tweeted at him and said, if Uruguay wins the World Cup, because the FIFA World Cup's just started, and he's from Uruguay, they said, if Uruguay wins the World Cup, will you make an Evil Dead 2? And he said, yeah. So if Uruguay wins the World Cup, we'll get an Evil Dead 2.
If Uruguay loses the World Cup, he better make Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, well, there's no more TV series, and there's no more... Nope. And old mate's not coming back ever again.
Nope.
Bruce Campbell finally threw his hands up in indignation.
He said, I'm done. So that's it for that.
So next we have... we got a clip from Luke Cage Season 2 with Misty and Colleen.
Yep.
I haven't even watched this. I don't watch it at all. I'm just waiting for the show.
You could just wait for the show. We'll have the trailer in the article, but I mean, it's a bar fight, and you just see the girls in action. It's pre the arm which I don't think is really a spoiler. But yeah, it's cool. But yeah, you can just wait for the series. You've only got, by the time you're listening to this, you've got like 4 sleeps or something. So
I was gonna say, when does that drop?
It's
Friday.
this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, Friday the
22nd.
22nd. Yep.
So that's Friday coming up. All right, next we have Super Trooper Helmer, Jay Chandraskar. I think so you say his last name. He said he's met with Marvel Studios. They handed him a Marvel Encyclopedia and pretty much said, "What do you guys want to do?"
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why?
I don't know. Maybe they like his work.
What? Like, what?
I mean, when you watch what we do in the Shadows and Hunt for the Wilder People, you think Taika Waititi would get a job at Marvel?
They do like sort of looking at potential rather than what they've done and trying different things. So
I think they just want to see, like, if they pick a character, what they could do, like, and then get him to pitch them an idea for that character or something like that. I feel that's probably what they do.
Likewise, I mean, look at the gamble that New Line would have taken. Look at the gamble New Line took with Peter Jackson. Yeah, he'd just come off Meet the Feebles, meet the fucking Feebles, and then here, have all this money to do Lord of the Rings. I mean...
Well, they took a gamble on him for Heavenly Creatures. I was like,
true. Yeah, true. I give you that. But I mean, yeah, look, Super Troopers doesn't exactly inspire me with, any kind of positivity. But, maybe the guy's got good methods and good angles, and I don't know. We'll find out.
Isaiah Mustafa has been cast as the adult Mike in It Chapter 2.
We're all going to be watching this film looking for an Old Spice reference, aren't we?
Yeah,
I am.
Like it'd be like at his house in his bathroom, and we're all going to be like freeze framing it, looking for a bottle of Old Spice.
It's kind of like me sitting in like Infinity War, hoping that like Tony Stark or Benedict Cumberbatch are going to say like "No shit, Sherlock" to one another or something like that. It's one of those sorts of things that I want to happen.
Look down, look up. Now I'm a clown. I'm in a sewer. Oh shit.
Oh, now I've been written out of the movie.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving along,
Mr. Feige.
Kevin Feige has been waiting for a call about X-Men and Fantastic Four.
Yeah, now last I read on this Disney deal was Fox and who's the other player?
Apparently Comcast, but apparently from what I had heard before, it was that things are getting pretty serious with Disney and Fox, like it was all going ahead. And that employees have been giving out letters to pretty much like a vote in the company.
Right, okay.
To say like, yeah, I'm for this, but it sounds like Comcast just being dicks about the whole thing.
To be fair, it has nothing to do with the employees. It's going to be the shareholders. Right. Last I heard was they were looking at ripping it all apart, and that Comcast might be taking some bits, and and Disney might be taking some bits, and it seems to be sort of all up in the air at the moment. So I can understand why Kevin's waiting for a call, because obviously he'll get a call, and if they get a thumbs up, he'll be like bang straight into the writing room, I would imagine.
Yeah. So, another bit of news I'm just going to squeeze in here as well is
squeeze away, friend.
Dave Bautista is actively pursuing Marcus Phoenix in a Gears of War movie.
Is he?
Yeah, that makes. I mean, he would be perfect.
He said he's been chasing it for quite a few years. He's been trying to be like, find someone who wants to get it done. Wow. And then when this broke the other week, because he was doing press for Hotel Artemis, and that's when it came up, someone tweeted at Jordan Voight Roberts, who did Kong Skull Island, and he's a known big video game nerd. And he said he pretty much put his hand up to say, like, yeah, I'll direct it.
Oh, fuck off.
No, that could work. I don't like that film particularly either. But
you like DC, you don't like Kong Skull Island. You can piss right off.
No way.
You can piss right off.
I think it could. Yeah, look, a Gears of War movie. I mean, it's just going to be balls to the wall action, right? I mean, there's no exposition.
In that way, he'd be okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Why are we shooting? Who cares? Keep firing. As long as the movie's like that, it'll be fine. And Bautista would be perfect. I mean, he looks like the lead character in many ways. You just got to get that.
He does.
He's just got to get his soul patch and a bit of cheek fuzz, and he'll be there.
All right, moving on. We got the first official trailer for Halloween.
Oh boy, look good. What did you think, Jesse?
Oh boy, I'm excited. I hope they don't. I hope they don't screw it up. But it looks like it's.
I don't think they're gonna. I mean, we'll get into this more. But I mean, Carpenter, he's listed as exec producer. He's done the music score for this film, which is fantastic. But he's also helped with some of the storyline elements. Like he's not going to get a scriptwriter's credit, I don't believe, but he was on hand to sort of give suggestions and answer questions.
He was there to blow secondhand smoke in the faces of the screenwriters.
Yeah. So this film is taking place after the 1978 original film. It's a direct sequel to that 1978 film. It ignores everything that came after that original film. We'll go into this more later as to why, but yeah, I'm keen. And Curtis is back, and she's playing the role properly, and should be good.
Yeah, I mean,
one of the most things I find strange about this new movie is that Danny McBride is a co-writer for it.
Maybe he wrote one word.
Well, no, he's been actively involved with this for a long time.
Wow.
He was on set, like with the filming and everything. Like he's written a decent part of it.
Holy crap! Wow.
Maybe it was like a passion project for him or something like that.
Yeah.
He's just always been a fan, and he's just
I guess you do hear like strange talents come out of nowhere. I mean, look at James Franco.
Yeah, I don't know if I use the word talent.
Next in the news, we have oh boy, can't wait for this one. Old Bumblebee trailer. Whew. This looks like it's going to be an absolute shit show that I don't want to watch at all.
I can't tell if that was sarcasm or sincere.
Yeah, neither am I. I am not quite sure if Ethan's hyped or disappointed.
Oh no, I've watched 1 to 4 of the Transformers movies in the cinema. Then when 5 came out, I'm like, no, I have to stop watching these. And then I got on home media and I watched it, and I'm like, I'm glad I didn't sit in a movie theater for 2.5 fucking hours to see some bullshit. And then now they come out with Bumblebee, and they're like, oh, we have to put the Transformers franchise on hold now and reevaluate because we didn't make as much money on number 5 as we hoped we had. And that's because everyone's fucking sick of fucking Transformers, and they should just fuck off and not give us a Bumblebee movie and just, yeah.
Because Ethan's busy watching Beyond Skyline.
I was once. I watched half of it.
Okay? Not even once, Ethan. Not even once. Ronnie Reagan will tell you that.
Skyline. Not even once.
Nancy and I
Sure, I'd rather watch Bumblebee than watch fucking Beyond Skyline. But...
Yeah, so this is like a prequel film by the looks of it. It's before Bumblebee learns to... Yeah, and I mean, he's still the little beetle bug, and he hasn't learned how to talk with the radio and all that crap yet, so...
still boring.
It looks like a cash grab, but I guess it's going to appeal... A lot of people wanted this film for a long time. A lot of people wanted a Bumblebee film.
Why?
I don't know.
They
grew up with Transformers.
He's yellow and a good guy.
I think, look, if they try and strip out all the sort of the more mature shit that they shoved into the other ones, like, Megan Fox's body, rip all that crap out and turn it into more of a family film, you'll probably get more mums and dads going with kids who would be keen to see this thing.
Marvel TV boss has hinted at Netflix release dates after Luke Cage. I didn't even see this, so I didn't even know what this
Let's be
was.
fair, he didn't hint so much as completely fucked up on, I think it was a Reddit AMA, and basically slipped Daredevil 3 this year.
You can kind of use it.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking about 3, possibly 4 shows in a year. Like, that's crazy. So
next year we'll get Iron Fist and Punisher and Jessica Jones 3. That'll be next year.
The rumor is we may get Iron Fist 2 this year.
What?
Yeah, you read that. You read that Newsweek. Yeah, you read that link. Yeah, Iron Fist season 2 release date.
Oh, later this year.
Yeah, that's why it's shocking.
Oh.
Yeah, there's like, it's nuts. Like if you even, I mean, assuming that Punisher is not coming until next year, like 2019, you're talking about Jones, Cage, Daredevil, and Iron Fist all in 1 year. That's a hectic schedule. That is a lot.
And what are they
now it's possible he just. It's possible he fucked up. It's possible he just fucked up.
But we could also just get Daredevil could be early next year. That could be the first one.
Well, that's not what he said.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to squeeze in a bit of news here again that I saw. Who was it that talked about this? Was Marvel's head Jeff Loeb? Was that who it was? Yep. He said that, it was Jeff Loeb. He said recently as well that all the Marvel Netflix shows that have been filmed are all set before Infinity War.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, the only problem is we're going to have Infinity War, Avengers 3 and 4 is assumed, we don't know 100%, of course, until it comes out, but it's assumed that there's, 4 or 5 year gap, right?
The 5-year gap's the current thought on with Avengers.
Yeah, is the current thought. I mean, we could all get proven wrong. That's the only part they're going to have trouble with. Assuming 4 fixes things, and we'll leave it at that, they could probably then just pick up and run with it after that. Unless, of course, and I don't want to get too off track, unless 4 rewinds sort of things, in which case sort of 3 and 4 happen instantaneously within the timeline, and then you can just mush on as if nothing ever happened.
Yeah, you could.
So, but at the moment, they're not going to deal with the elephant in the room, which is obviously the end of Infinity War, and they're just going to go, all this happens before them.
Jordan Peele reportedly wants to reboot Gargoyles as a
Why?
feature film.
I was talking to someone about this today.
Why?
I love this.
Why?
I love this. I love
that
Gargoyles.
he got all this clout for the industry. He could make any movie he wants to, and he's like, I want to make a Gargoyles.
I'll be happy for that. I like Gargoyles. That was great. Give me a live action Yu-Gi-Oh movie while you're at it.
Oh, fucking seriously? Come on. And as Christopher Walken as Pegasus.
Oh, fuck. No. Moving on, we had another trailer for Luke Cage season 2. I still haven't
proper
watched that
official.
trailer either.
You haven't watched that one? Okay. So again,
No.
no sign of Iron Fist at all in any of the trailers. We know he's in it.
I think
but
he's
that's-
queued for 3 or 4 episodes, I think.
Yeah. We do see more of what's her name? The one that's taken over.
Maria Della.
Yeah.
Maria
Yeah. We get to see more of her. She's obviously coming back and is going to be still heavily involved. We see Shades and a few other things, but it looks like they're going to get squeezed by Bushwhacker. And it sort of looks like almost a case of the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and I think we might see her really sort of teaming up with Cage against his better judgment to deal with Bushwhacker. So, but not long to
doesn't
find.
leave me too excited about this season. It kind of feels very been there, done that. From the trailer.
Yeah, I agree. But having said that too, I've watched all of the trailers that have released so far, and they have, more than any other Netflix show in a while, these trailers have given away nothing. Like they're look at Daredevil season 2. We had reveal of Punisher in the trailers. We had the reveal of Elektra in the trailers. We had all this other stuff. You haven't even seen Iron Fist in these trailers. Like, they've really played it closer to their chest this time. I hope that's because we're going to get blown away. I hope.
Or it might be because they have nothing planned.
If they've got... Yeah, well, then it'll be the literal death of this character, and no one will watch it ever again. But we'll see.
Next, we got a trailer for Dumbo, directed by Tim Burton. The live-action Dumbo.
Yep, next.
Next, we have... oh boy, some news that fucking got me riled up. Chris Pine's back as Trevor and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and it's set in the 80s, because it's now officially titled as Wonder Woman. Now, can I just say, first of all, the film is titled Wonder Woman 1984. Is it just me, or does that sound rather unimaginative?
Yep, it does.
Yeah.
I
it
mean,
actually sounds to me like they picked the one year that everyone seems to say is like the golden year of movies of the 80s as well.
Is this trying to be Wonder Woman Stranger Things? Is
Maybe.
this, I mean, everything's kind of cashing in on the 80s right now. I mean,
yeah.
And the title is weird. Like, it's almost like the title is Wonder Woman, hey, this cool chic thing that everybody's into right now, come see our film.
It would have been better if they had called it Wonder Woman 84, like, hyphen 84.
Yeah. But even then, like...
Better.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a really odd subtitle to me. It just
what gives me the shits about this fucking movie? Is that this really shows how lack thereof DC cares about their timeline. Because the whole point of Batman vs Superman and even Wonder Woman movie was she wanted that photo of Steve Trevor because that's the only photo she has, and she missed him and all this other shit from World War One.
Exactly.
Why the fuck is he there in 1984?
Maybe she lost all her Polaroids.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Ethan,
No,
fucking Polaroids.
she said she left the men and like fucking World War II and only came back recently. What the fuck is the point in putting that whole plot device in all the fucking movies if we're just going to introduce Steve Trevor in this fucking movie?
Because maybe in the next
entire
modern
continuity
DC
of it.
movie, they're going to have Wonder Woman like listening to fucking dance hall days and she just breaks down and cries. She's like, oh, Steve, I remember when I thawed you out.
We mean thought about it. He died in a fucking plane explosion.
Maybe she fucking did some magic. I don't know.
Yeah, I
What
have no
midget?
idea.
There's probably nothing fucking left
Oh,
of him.
Daniel Thewlis was in
This
it.
just shows how much DC doesn't give a fuck about their movies. They just want to pump it out because they want to try and make money, and they're just losing fucking money. And they're like, oh, everyone loved fucking Chris Pine. He's a cash cow. Let's chuck him back in this fucking movie to get more people in the seats. No one cares. Just fix your fucking movie franchise and it'll be fine.
Jesse, I think he angry.
I can't even defend it. DC
The
is
problem, the problem,
Unfortunately.
like, the first film did really well. I mean, it was well received.
821.8 million.
Everyone enjoyed it. They did it well. You know, the director was left alone to do her own thing. All the rest of it was great.
And now the studio has said,
really
hey,
looks
Patty,
like
you want to make a movie in the 80s?
And if they drop the ball on this, the last vestige, the last little bit of faith that people have got is just, it's going to be gone.
Ewan McGregor to star a new Shining movie, Doctor Sleep.
Hooray! I
For
cannot
Netflix,
wait for
I think.
this.
Yeah, that's
Right, so
Netflix.
is this a sequel to
Is
Shining?
this Netflix?
Yes. Yeah. I think I'm not sure if it's Netflix or Hulu.
No, it's not Netflix. It's from
It'll
the
be-
guy
it'll
who
be-
did
it'll-
Gerald's
it'll-
Game, though.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, that was on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Castle Rock out yet? Like, complete side
No.
tangent?
No,
Because
no.
I want to watch that. Okay, so this is King involved in this at all, or are they just based upon the characters of, or?
Give me a sec.
I think Stephen King.
Oh no,
using-
Stephen King has given his blessing to.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's right. He's not really involved. Okay, that'll probably
He's
be
not
good then.
involved, but
Oh!
right, the book you're adapting.
Yeah, so I said it'll probably be good then if King's not involved, right?
It'll be, yeah. Well, yeah.
Sick
Maximum Overdrive taught us.
Maximum Overdrive. Yeah.
To sidetrack again, Castle Rock is July 25th.
All right. Awesome.
3-episode season premiere.
All right, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, okay. Well, I mean, Shining was good. I guess we'll wait and see. I mean, Ewan McGregor's a good actor. Well,
And
Yeah,
you know,
but
it's
I mean,
even
directors-
better
Director's
If
done
Ewan
some good
McGregor's
stuff.
doing this,
involved.
that means he's not going to be doing Obi-Wan anytime soon. And that's all of us ever want.
No, that's not true. You can
He doesn't
bang
have a
out 2 or
whole
3
lot on
movies
his
a year.
plate. He's Ewan
Yeah,
McGregor.
he'll be
Fuck the Boba Fett movie, give us Ewan McGregor.
But
I mean, Obi-Wan.
that Gerald's Game I thought was quite good, considering I when I read the book I never thought they'd turn it into a film. I mean, it's
Oh, the book's fucking boring as shit.
well that the thing was, it's like, how do you turn, it's a woman chained to a bed, how do you turn this into a movie? I think the movie, considering the source material, I think they did a good job. I was impressed.
Great.
So I mean,
seen a
if he
lot
could,
of,
if he could do that
Shotman
with that source material, then sort of giving more free reign to do what he wants with, a free, a script that's free to do what it wants with existing material. I think he probably could do something really good.
I think Doctor Sleep's a great. Like I've read it. I think it's a pretty good book. And that's I'm like the harshest Stephen King fan, and I think that it was a good book. But I'm glad that he has nothing to do with it, because he fucking hates The Shining. So clearly he has no idea what he's talking about when it comes to movies.
Anyway,
Yep.
is that all the news?
Yep, we're done.
You want to go
Alright.
back to talking about Wonder Woman?
No.
That's a
Sure, we
really
move on
terrible
to
attempt
our,
at John Carpenter music.
I thought that was the fucking Star Trek music from the Battle.
That's
I
how
thought you
bad
were
it
gonna do,
was.
From his intro music.
That's how bad it was. All right, so the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only, Mr. John Carpenter. So, I own all of his films on Blu-ray. Just
Wow,
about,
all of
or
them that have
DVD.
been-
I've seen 5 of his films.
Good effort, Ethan.
That's it.
You get a gold star.
Yeah, I've seen 5 of those. I've still seen Sicario, but I've seen 5 of these. That's something.
I haven't caught any of these early shorts. I have I won't lie, I have a naughty version of Dark Star. I know that's a hard watch, Dark Star, but Dark Star, believe it or not, was actually a instigator for other films. I believe Alien has the chap who wrote that credited Dark Star because he worked on Dark Star.
I think so. Yeah, that sounds.
What was
familiar.
his name? Bloody eludes me. O'Bannon. That's right. Yeah, Dan O'Bannon. He, apart from starring in it, also helped. He wrote the screenplay. So Dark Star is actually a comedic precursor to Alien. So I don't know if you
I
knew
wonder
that.
what Alien would have been like if John Carpenter had directed it.
Well, probably another big tennis, whatever is beach ball, whatever because that's what the alien is in Darkstar. It's like a beach ball.
That's a good point.
It's like trying to watch, any director's first piece. It can be a hard.
Darkstar's.
They were in film school, so it's a hard one to push through. But yeah, it's there. I won't lie, I haven't seen Assault on Precinct 13, the original one. Did you catch that at any point?
You talking to me?
Yeah, Ethan hasn't. I know Ethan hasn't seen it, but
Yeah, no, I've got Assault on Precinct 13
I saw the remake.
on Blu-ray.
okay.
The remake's not too bad. The original's really good
There
though.
is one.
Okay, and of course then Halloween, 1978. Now that
Haven't
was
seen that.
Yeah, that was his big breakout, and it was that's what really put him on the map, so to speak.
Well, that was his first actual theatrical film because Assault on
Yeah.
Precinct 13 was a made-for-TV movie.
Right, yeah, and it did well. It did incredibly well.
Yeah, it did. And I think it was largely down to how ballsy it was, considering the opening of the movie, they shoot a little fucking girl through an ice cream cone and kill her. And that was not normal for 1970s television.
No, I think probably one of the greatest things that Halloween gets right is that pacing and the building of tension. It's a slow build. And then it just when it hits that crescendo, it just doesn't stop.
Well, it literally birthed the slasher genre forever.
It did. Elvis, I haven't seen, but
Haven't seen that either.
didn't that have
Kurt Russell.
Kurt? Yes, Kurt
Yeah.
Russell, our friend Kurt. Yeah,
It-
and that was
it's
the start.
okay, but it
That was the
doesn't
start of their
resemble-
relationship.
It doesn't resemble John Carpenter's work at all, but it's not bad.
No. Then we get back into classic Carpenter with The Fog.
Haven't seen that.
And the introduction of, I think this is the first time he cast Adrienne Barbeau, wasn't it? I think his wife to be.
Someone's watching me. He was in that.
I think so. I don't
I
know.
think so. I don't think she's in anything before that. Anyway.
She was in this. Someone's watching me. It's a TV film. John Carpenter did. She was in that.
Right, yeah, which is between Halloween and Elvis. Right, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's one of them I've got. I've watched that quite a few times. I quite like it.
It's
Again,
good. It
the
doesn't
pacing's
really
good.
hold up for modern
It
filmmakers,
doesn't.
I guess.
No.
But it's a good, classic spooky movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Kind of looks like an episode from Round the Twist.
it's better than Netflix The Mist, right?
Because the Frank Darabont one's a lot better than the Netflix one.
The Frank Darabont movie's damn good. I don't care what anyone says.
No, that's good.
Escape from New York. Now that
I've
is
seen that.
Oh,
just a classic.
I've seen
Just
that
a
one.
classic. I love that movie. Call me
It's
Snake,
such a
and
good
and then at the end, call me Pliskin. Now, what's his name? The game developer. I can't pronounce the Japanese guy. Hideo, whatever.
Kojima?
He's straight up said that he based, the character of Solid Snake on this character.
yes,
Named
yeah.
him Snake.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like he's trying to be subtle. He directly ripped this.
Yeah.
Nothing subtle about the Metal Gear game.
This movie has been used as inspiration for a lot of other films. To the point that even that movie with Guy Pearce got sued for
the
infringing
Lockout?
on the Lockout,
Yeah.
where it was, got
Lockout?
sued for basically just ripping the idea directly.
It was the same fucking story.
Yeah, it was. And I liked it. I thought Guy Pearce played the part well, and he was funny.
I started
Oh,
that
he
movie,
played a really
and
good
when
Bucket Snake.
I saw the
Let me
scene
guess, you
of
got
Guy
halfway
Pearce-
through it and got bored, right?
No, not even halfway. This means going to the motorway and the fucking motorbike, and I was like, how no am I watching this shit? And I fucking stopped it.
It's a good
It was
movie.
like
Got
20
that on
minutes
Blu-ray.
in.
But yeah,
fucking terrible.
Escape from New York is a classic. It's the sort of thing that you can just keep going back and watching. It was so ahead of its time. Then I would argue, in terms of global awareness, probably,
Thing.
if not his biggest, then at least his second biggest, most well-known film. That's The Thing, and that was
Yep.
Yeah.
Seen that one.
that film still creeps me out today.
That-
And
The
thing-
fucking
It's
dog,
awesome.
Jesus.
And considering the special effects they use, like the actual practical
Yeah.
effects, everything,
Yeah.
even when they drop the blood in the train, everything like that.
Yeah,
But it's funny
That's fucking-
because
that's
for
great.
for us sitting here 30 years or so later saying how what a masterpiece the thing is, it was shit on mercilessly.
Yeah, it
when
was.
Out. No one gave a
yeah.
fuck.
Which
And
I
it's weird
honestly,
that
I think it's because again, he in this instance had pushed the boundary so far that people just couldn't get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's the movie came out in 1982, and those effects, by and large, still stand up today pretty damn well. Like, you if you've never seen that before and you put it in front of a teenager in a dark room, they're gonna get scared. Like, it's done
and it's
really
well
well.
acted. It's not just scares.
Yeah. And again, it's
really
got the tension. It's got all that tension. It's building up. You don't know who's who and all the rest of it. And, of course, it's a return of Kurt. Anyway, great movie.
Carry on.
Christine. Haven't seen that. Stephen King, of course. Nope. Yeah. Look, for me, it's a bit too slow. But it's a good film. Don't get me wrong. It's a good film, but it's not one that I keep going back to. It doesn't have... Because it's not Carpenter's story. I mean, it's King's story. I get more enjoyment out of the stuff that Carpenter's had a hand in writing as well. It's not a bad film by any stretch, but it's just not the sort of thing that I've watched more times than I can count.
I think I probably have a rose-tinted view of it because when I went back and watched it, back when I wrote the Stephen King stuff, I was like, holy shit, this is a surprisingly good film amidst all this crap. Yeah. It's shocking that it is actually as good as it is, and it's a widely forgotten movie too.
That's funny because, I mean, as much as we can look at a lot of Carpenter stuff and say, oh, you know, the acting here or there was camp, there's plenty of movies like this that, you know, the acting still stands up today. Like, it's some really solid... You know, I mean, I've got it, like all these other stuff, and because my wife collects all the Stephen King movies, even like the really bad ones, like sometimes they come back again and again or whatever. But
sometimes they come back for a fifth sequel.
Why do they keep coming back? One that I haven't seen in a long time, and that's Starman. And that's got that's got Jeff Bridges. Now, I mean, I have seen it. I don't own it on DVD. It came out in '84, and I remember seeing it in the '80s and possibly again in the '90s. He's an alien, from memory.
Yeah, I think I haven't seen it in a long, long time, actually. I don't own that one either.
Yeah, it's sort of like the man who fell to the earth or whatever kind of thing, and yeah, it's got what's her name, Karen Allen. You know,
it's kind of a little like K-Pax, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember. I haven't seen K-Pax.
Kevin Spacey movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same principle. Like, it's, you know, he's an alien, he falls to Earth, they fall in love, blah, blah, blah. You know, but he did it in, 1984. And then probably my favourite film out of all of Carpenter's work, Big Trouble in Little China. I have this on, like, Blu-ray and DVD and probably VHS. Probably, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that have, like, tattoos from this movie, and they have the jackets, you know, the Black Dragon restaurant jacket. Like, there's so much pop culture around this film. And again, when it came out, it was a huge flop. Like, no one wanted to see it.
Pretty much everything that John Carpenter ever did was a huge flop. Really, like,
he's more popular now than he was in the 80s.
Success.
Yeah, he's more popular now.
He's really, like, just been remembered as a cult director. It's amazing that he's remembered at all.
Yeah.
Well, look at this. He made a movie almost every year from 78.
Yeah.
He did 78, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84. Yeah. He stopped between Starman and Big Trouble in Little China. That was 86.
Yeah. But I mean, that's why he smokes a pack a day.
Because when you think about it, he really is like the antithesis of Quentin Tarantino. He made movies consistently and was consistently just like no one gave a shit. And he made schlock, he made campy stuff, he made like off-the-wall stuff, and then you got Quentin Tarantino who makes schlock, campy stuff, off-the-wall stuff. Every single time a movie of his comes out, people lose their fucking minds. And in all honesty, I like Quentin Tarantino, but I would argue that John Carpenter is a better filmmaker because he doesn't make elevated schlock. Whereas Quentin Tarantino's movies are all very like exploitation films that are just very pretty and very well acted and well shot.
Yeah, I think if Carpenter had remained active and had pushed on over the last sort of 5-6 years, he'd probably be giving people like Quentin a run for his money, to be honest.
Oh yeah, especially with the nostalgia trip people are on now.
He got burnt out and got fed up and had enough of Hollywood, really, I think was the biggest problem. And that started definitely by Big Trouble in Little China. He was having problems.
Because I'm pretty sure
the next film he did was pretty much all off his own back from memory, and that was Prince of Darkness, which I really liked. That was another one of my favorites. Sorry, you haven't seen
another movie that not many people even remember.
Yeah, well, it's got Aerosmith in it, right? No, Alice Cooper. Sorry, not Aerosmith. Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper is one of the.
Didn't Alice Cooper do a song for it?
Yeah, that was the whole point. Yeah, so he cameos in the film. He's one of the. It's the scene when it's still daylight and the guy's around the back getting his bike or something like that from memory.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. There's what I like about it. I mean, half the cast is like just ripped straight out of Big Trouble. The acting's campy in Prince of Darkness, like it's very 80s, and it's again one of these because it was off his own back. Like it is quite campy. You'll chuckle at how it's very 80s, and it's very it's even late 70s. Like there's still bell bottoms and sideburns, and it's free love, but it's not a bad film. Yeah, They Live is a classic. Yeah, Rowdy Roddy Piper. Anybody who's, the iconography and the pop culture references that have come from this film are phenomenal.
I mean, it has Keith David in it, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, it has Rowdy Roddy Piper beating the shit out of Keith David over sunglasses.
Tell me
Wear the sunglasses. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Literally,
that is from They Live. Yeah, it's an iconic line from They Live. Yeah, because he walks into the bank and he's like with a shotgun. The iconography of that VHS tape cover, with the sort of alien faces and all the rest of it. Yeah, I mean, classic film.
The anti-consumerism message is just like, it really has just lived on.
And it is still relevant today, absolutely. It is still a relevant movie today in terms of, political agenda. Another one that gets skipped over a lot is Memoirs of an Invisible Man. Now, what a lot of people don't remember is this starred Chevy Chase and Daryl Hannah.
I remember Daryl Hannah, I don't remember Chevy Chase.
Yeah, Chevy Chase played, because he was invisible. Ba-dum-tsh. Oh, shit. Yeah, this was a really... I mean, Chase tries to squeeze some humor in now and again, I remember, but it's actually a really sad film. I remember one scene where he's sort of lamenting and he's like, he's not happy. Like he goes, I have to fall asleep on pool tables because no one walks into me. And do you know how hard it is to fall asleep when you see through your own eyelids? But the way he pitched that scene, it's sad. It like almost brings a tear to your eye because you really feel for this guy. Like he's not happy about his situation. It's a bit of an oddball movie, and it's not classic Carpenter at all. But it'd be neat if it came to Netflix or something, because it's one of those things. I haven't watched it in years, but I would definitely watch it again.
Have you seen it? His movies that are like that though. Like I have seen it once, and but I don't remember much about it at all.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people I've spoken to about John Carpenter. They bring that up. That's the movie that they bring up as if they're some kind of obscure fucking archive fan of John Carpenter, and then they tell you the story of Hollow Man instead.
Yeah,
like that's not the same movie.
Yeah.
In the same decade.
And I'm going to get grilled for this. I'm not a big fan of Sam Neill. He played a big part in the next film, in The Mouth of Madness.
I'll fucking kill you.
I mean, it was great that we were touching on sort of Lovecraftian themes, and I totally dig that. But I didn't. I could be wrong. You would know, Jesse. Didn't Carpenter have sort of an unofficial trilogy that this was part of?
Yeah. Apocalypse trilogy.
Yeah.
You skipped Body Bags as well, the TV anthology film he did.
I did, because it doesn't count.
Okay.
I don't get too invested in his TV stuff.
Has Mark Hamill
quite a bit on TV.
But anyway, Mouth of Madness. Yeah, I mean, I liked the movie. I'm just not I don't dig Sam Neill. I'm sorry. Not a fan of Sam Neill, but I did enjoy the movie In the Mouth of Madness. Again, nice to see some more sort of Lovecraftian stuff. You don't get a lot of that.
I think he didn't have his fill with The Thing, because I know he said that he wanted to adapt Who Goes There because it felt a lot like a H.P. Lovecraft story. So
yeah, I have the next one on DVD. I've probably only watched it once or twice though, and that's Village of the Damned.
Never seen it.
Yeah, look, it doesn't hold a particularly good score. Those wigs are fucking terrible for starters.
That movie's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I mean, you try and hold on to it because you love Carpenter, but it's a pretty ordinary film, and this is sort of getting towards the end of things, and it gets where Carpenter's really starting to lose his edge, I guess.
And this was in the height of the creepy child horror movie fad.
Like Children of the Corn and all that sort of shit.
Children of the Corn.
Well, the first Children of the Corn was in the 80s, I'm pretty sure, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
But still.
But by this point, there was like, what, 6 of them? God, I can't remember how many I watched.
Yeah, because this was followed by Escape from LA, which shouldn't have been made. Shouldn't have been made. It's not bad.
It's like, it's okay, it's passable.
But it you could have left it alone just as easily.
It's definitely it doesn't hold a candle even close to New York.
Yeah. Followed by Vampire, or Vampires rather, with James Woods.
Haven't seen that.
You're not missing a lot.
Yeah. I had a very rose-tinted memory of wait, hang on. That's not fucking John Carpenter, it's Wes Craven.
No, Vampires.
What, Vampires?
Yeah.
With James
It's
Woods.
John Carpenter.
It's John Carpenter, buddy.
What? No, is it? Hang on, I'm gonna go check.
We're looking at it right now.
Yeah, we're already looking at it, brother.
Oh, fuck me, here we go.
Yep. Yeah, Carpenter.
Huh. Wow, that's disappointing.
Then Ghosts of Mars, which I have on Blu-ray.
I've seen that one.
Yeah,
I like
it's
that one.
it's not
From
bad.
What I can remember.
It's got a few faces, young faces that we've sort of then gone on to see other things.
You, Jason Statham,
Yeah,
Clea Duvall.
young Statham, young Natasha Henstridge we've seen in other things. So yeah, there's a few people in there, there's a few faces in there. It's another one of his really campy films. Like, there's some really campy lines. It's not bad. It's zombies on Mars.
Yeah, I remember when it came out, people in Video Easy, when we rented it, were like, oh, this movie's really fucking goofy.
Yeah, its Metascore is shit, but again, like, it's a 2001 film, give it 10 years, it'll be another cult classic. Like, it's enjoyable, you just don't, it's a popcorn flick, don't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is,
got
what gets me...
kind of vibe to the Doom movie.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, what gets me is, like, people can pan this, and then they'll be like, oh, but, you know, yeah, like, Doom or Riddick is, like, the best thing ever. I like Riddick.
Yeah.
And if you like Riddick, there's really no reason not to like Ghosts of Mars. Because Ghosts of Mars, yeah, it's not Riddick, but it's the same kind of thing. It's mercs going out to shoot some fucking shit and save someone. Right, and then he goes quiet. There's a little bit of stuff. There was The Ward in 2010, which I think I have on DVD. It was pretty ordinary. This is the one where it's all in her head. There you go, spoilers. It's okay.
You ruined the movie for everyone.
Yeah, it's okay. It wasn't bad, but I mean,
it's like a lot of other movies that have the same plot line.
Yeah, and that's about it in terms of director. Like, he hasn't really done much since sort of... He's done like one or two things since, 2000, the millennium. So, writing-wise, he went on and did other stuff. He dabbled with some video games. He got credited for a few things. But he's been reasonably inactive for sort of close to 20 years now. I don't think he's going to come back in any huge, meaningful way.
He did a soundtrack for Stranger Things in season 2.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, that intro tune...
They completely fucking, ripped his soundtrack.
Yeah. It was that intro tune for Stranger Things, just the title sequence, is very Carpenter.
It is, it's a direct...
He did the soundtrack for the episode that everyone hated.
Did he?
Season 2.
Yeah, well, that's not his fault.
He did the soundtrack for that.
That's not his fault.
Nice.
But I mean, he's been a musician just as long as he's been in films, and he's done some really great synth sort of tracks. I've always enjoyed his soundtracks, and again, they have a very distinct sound, and just like his movies have a very distinct look. And the thing is, sure, a lot of his films are sub 50 on a Metacritic score, but his stuff is going to be continually sold and watched for long after I'm gone. Like, he will go down as an iconic director, whether you wanted to or not, really. Whether you've seen his stuff or not. I think he will have, his body of work will remain.
And I think it was almost accidental. Like, he became a fixture of his era, because when you look at Stranger Things, you wouldn't think that someone like John Carpenter, who had a couple of movies that become real big cult hits. Even outside of that, though, like, he's got cult fame, but he's not He's not Quentin Tarantino. You know, he's not Steven Spielberg. Yet
he was never
Stranger
looking
Things
for it.
comes out, and it's really heavily like influenced by a lot of John Carpenter stuff. And people, it's almost like subliminal that people went, "Oh yeah, I remember that. I love that," but they don't remember what they loved or who it came from.
Yeah. I think, and you could compare the two, just as Stephen King as an author manages to capture the 60s in his written work very well, which is what lures a lot of readers to his books, especially those, obviously, who lived through the 60s, you know, the baby boomers. I think Carpenter is able to really, or at the time did, and he captured the 80s on film during the 80s so well, you know, and it's... Just as I can watch Stranger Things and get gooey and giddy and remember playing myself Dungeons and Dragons when I was, you know, in the 80s as a kid, you know, it allows my generation to go back and watch these films and reminisce to a degree about that time period because he just managed to capture it so well. The look, the music, everything was just, you know, perfect.
Especially the synth, because like his synth scores, they don't sound like oh crap, what's his name? The guy that did Blade Runner.
Vangelis.
Yeah, he did, like, his synth doesn't sound like Vangelis. Vangelis sounds a little
different.
like John Carpenter though.
Yeah. The thing is, I think the problem for Carpenter is during the 80s, it was already the 80s, so it was just cliche. It was you can't, there's no rose tint. Whereas it's
more
powerful today because we can look back in it. You know what I mean? And
it's like a memory. You don't know in like moments in your life when you're creating a memory you'll remember forever. You don't know you're making a memory. Yeah, and there's going to be plenty of movies, sort of the last 10 years that probably did pretty average at the cinema. Aren't going to be relevant for another 20, 30 years until Ethan's generation, for instance, starts wanting to look back at stuff that was relevant when he was young and growing up. You know what I mean? Then we'll get Beyond Skyline 3.
He'll be like, I'm going to watch Beyond Skyline in my 8K virtual reality helmet. Yeah, exactly.
Or Ethan, it'll be worse. They'll want to make another Bumblebee movie.
All right, so I'll see the 10th reboot of Transformers by that point.
Let's dabble sort of lastly but quickly on the Halloween stuff, I guess, and explain what happened there. So, of course, we had the screenplay he wrote for Halloween in 78, went on to be a huge success. The movie studio wanted him to come back and do a sequel, Halloween 2. John had felt by this stage he'd pretty much exhausted everything he wanted to tell in terms of the story. But they wanted the character of Michael back. They'd made a lot of money. So he wrote the sequel, Halloween 2, of which picks up pretty much straight after the end of the first movie. Halloween 2 is good. I liked it. Not a bad film, but a lot of people didn't enjoy it. And then when they went back to him again for the third film, which he's uncredited on, it was Season of the Witch, and he had really felt that he had told the story of Michael and really didn't see the character going forward any further, and wrote something that had nothing to do with Michael at all. And as such, the film is like panned hard. But I actually think Halloween 3 is a pretty good film. If you've watched it as a standalone film, it's quite enjoyable.
Yeah, you could take the name Halloween off it. It's a perfectly good movie.
Apart from the really annoying TV commercial, I fucking hate that song. Carpenter since then has pretty much said openly that he hasn't even bothered watching most of the films that followed, and he has no interest in them. I think he dabbled or watched H2O or something like that, which I thought was pretty ordinary.
Man.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty ordinary. So again, like, as far as John was concerned, there was the original film. That was all it was meant to be. And with the new film that's coming out, it's scrapping that Halloween sequel and everything past that point, and it's picking up sort of right after that 78 film. And I noticed in the trailer, it's like, isn't that his brother? Oh no, that was just, some rumors. Because the whole story of Michael being the brother didn't come up until the second film, or later. So, he's undoing. It's sort of like what I imagine James Cameron is kind of going to do with this Terminator film.
Well, he's gonna undo his colossal fuck up from when he backed Terminator Genesis.
Yeah, I think he's going to. Yeah, well, he is, but that's taking place after T2. Like, he's stripping away 3 onwards. So I'm always keen, as much as Cameron's been a bit of a douche lately. I'm always keen to see the original mind to come back to an IP and sort of show us what they intended.
I am when it's not Ridley Scott.
Yes, and George Lucas that was going to have show you the Force being made by bugs or something.
By bionicles.
The point is, there's a lot of John Carpenter films that you should be watching if you haven't seen them. A lot of them are on Netflix and Amazon Prime and very accessible to Australian audiences. Failing that, a lot of them are going to be on DVD in the bargain bin anywhere you go. Like, you can pick up a lot of these films for like under $5.
Big Trouble in Little China is $10 on Blu-ray. I don't think I've ever seen it higher than $10.
Yeah, I probably paid 20, but that would have been because I bought it like launch day.
I bought it a little while after it had been out, so I think I paid like 15.
Yeah, my VHS had worn out. It's that good a film.
Do you have a favorite? If you could give people a recommendation of one.
Look,
John
if
Carpenter.
you've never seen Carpenter and you're going to sit down, it's hard because Carpenter he's not just a horror director, even though he's well known for it. It's hard. I mean, I think for me personally, Big Trouble in Little China is probably my favorite. If I was trying to get you hooked on Carpenter, though, I might be more tempted to say try The Thing. It's difficult. It's difficult. I think you should watch all of them.
Yeah, it's hard for me too. I mean, in all honesty, I sound like an idiot for saying it, but I'm exactly the same opinion as you. My favorite is Big Trouble, but I would, if I wanted to show somebody a John Carpenter movie, I'd show them The Thing. Not because I think it's a better movie, but Big Trouble in Little China, I think anyone could watch it, but at the same time, it's a little weird for some people.
It is, and I think the other thing is, I mean, there's a lot of people I know who really love Big Trouble in Little China, but probably couldn't tell you 2 other films that Carpenter had done. Like, they love the pop culture that is Big Trouble.
It's like Labyrinth.
Yes, exactly. Whereas I think like you say, like if I want you to watch a film that makes you then go, well, that's not bad. What else has he done? You're more likely to get hooked by something like The Thing.
Yeah, I'd say The Thing or Halloween, because even They Live is, I think, a subpar movie compared to Halloween.
It's almost like we've got Carpenter's horror and then Carpenter's campy 80s greatest hits.
Yeah, his movies he just felt like making, because why the fuck not?
And it really is, because, horror, Halloween and The Thing and The Fog, and then 80s campy classic hits, you've got Big Trouble in Little China and They Live and Escape from New York, right?
Yeah, they're very like grindhousey kind of movies.
Yeah. But I mean, again, if you take anything away from this episode and this conversation, go and turn on your Netflix, punch in John Carpenter and watch one of his films. If you lived through the 80s, you won't be disappointed. If you're into sort of retro pop culture references, you won't be disappointed, because just about everything out there at some point today rips on Carpenter's work at some point.
Yeah.
The man is getting older. He doesn't look good. That's what happens when you smoke a pack a day.
The same to me. He's always
well preserved. If you really get into his stuff, go and listen to some of the Blu-ray DVD extras. Anything that's got Kurt Russell and John Carpenter doing a making of commentary is I guarantee you will be in stitches, because those two they just laugh and take the piss out of themselves so
Actually,
much.
really good recommendation if anyone ends up really liking John Carpenter and they haven't seen it. It's not easy to find, but if you can track down the very first episode of Robert Rodriguez's show, The Director's Chair, he did it for the El Rey Network in Mexico. That show, the first episode ever, was with John Carpenter. It's basically a show where Rodriguez sits down with a director and just goes over their body of work, and learns like inside stories about what they did, why they did it, why they did this movie, how they felt about it. And the John Carpenter one is awesome, and he's chain smoking the entire fucking time.
Yep, that sounds
Like
like
he
him.
just doesn't stop smoking.
So yeah, like, I mean, he's still dabbling. He's still doing stuff out there, like you said, Ethan. Stranger Things. Actually, according to IMDb, yeah, he did the soundtrack there. Yeah, he's done other bits and pieces. I mean, even if you've never seen Halloween, you know what it is. You've seen the posters and the references and all the rest of it.
I mean, I was playing a game called Dead by Daylight today, and one of the killers in it is Michael Myers.
Yeah, exactly. He's like,
I love that so much.
Yeah.
That's in it.
Yeah, you know what the face mask is, don't you, Ethan?
Yeah, it's William Shatner.
Yeah, it's a William Shatner mask.
Yeah, they took it from his death scene he had on one of the Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
They just needed a mask for it, so they just took that.
Yep.
You know what
Fantastic.
though? It's kind of ironic and poignant that we're talking about John Carpenter for the new Halloween movie, because Halloween, you know, like you just said, you know, it's iconic. But even as iconic as it is, it's very much telling of John Carpenter's work that it's still overshadowed by things like Jason and Freddy. Like, it is the original slasher movie, and it still gets overshadowed by things that came after it that basically aped off of its success. And I think that seems to be the story of John Carpenter's life.
Yep, he has been plagiarized so many times. I think he's just given up, largely.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he just lost interest.
Yeah, it's just, you know, he could be there. He's also an avid video gamer, apparently.
Yeah.
I'd heard.
He used to say that video games were the future of entertainment.
And he wasn't wrong. So there you go. The man is a visionary. You could do worse than to watch his stuff. So
Chain smoking accidental visionary.
he's the second coming. So yeah, hit your Netflix up. Hit your Big W bargain bin up. Grab yourself some Carpenter, because you won't be disappointed. You know, if nothing else, they are entertaining.
Yeah.
Certainly a lot better than you know, some of the crap Ethan watches.
Poor Ethan.
All right, hold on a second here. I did watch some shit, so it's all right.
You do.
Because I'm not going to defend that.
No.
No.
All right. Thank you very much to everybody for listening this fortnight. Particular extra large thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. Help make this possible. Pay for our SoundCloud and everything that goes with it, and web hosting. We'll be back next fortnight, and no doubt our topic of conversation will be the Luke Cage TV show, and I believe Ant-Man and the Wasp
Name and the Wasp is the week after.
is the week
And
after.
our new
Okay.
web series where we get Ethan to start watching classic films and get better taste in cinema.
How about I
Yeah.
would do a new web series where I watch shit films?
How about
Half
Ethan?
of the shit films.
How
you
about
force
us
me
to
on
watch
that.
them with you?
I think Ethan, instead, his homework for this fortnight is to get on Twitter and ask John Carpenter to come and be on our podcast, because that would be a much better John Carpenter podcast if it actually had John Carpenter. And you just message him and say, "We are a bunch of
just
hack
give him
nobodies from Australia that love your work, and we want to talk to you for half an hour.
And he's like, why the fuck not? What else am I going
We'll supply the cigarettes."
a bunch of Marlboro Reds.
All right, thank you everybody for listening, and we'll catch you next fortnight. Dun 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 dun.